If you're a print-on-demand seller, you've likely experienced the stress and confusion of trying to find the best keywords for your listings. How do you find keywords for items that exist within extremely saturated niches? And how can you ensure that the keywords you're using are actually being searched for? My name is Starla, founder of the Handmade Alpha Academy for Etsy sellers and manager at erank.com, Etsy's most popular SEO tool. And last week, I was honored when my friends at Printify asked me to show their sellers how to optimize for your print-on-demand listings on Etsy. Disclaimer, this video is not sponsored, nor am I an affiliate of Printify, but I am insanely excited to help print-on-demand sellers to knock out the most complicated aspect of running an Etsy shop. So let's get started. In case you're new to Etsy, SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. In the simplest terms, our SEO is a roadmap that helps Etsy to direct shoppers to your storefront and individual product listings. And unlike a standalone website, Etsy is already full of shoppers who are interested in purchasing what you sell. The traffic is already there. We just need to make sure that they're able to find you in the mix of other sellers. And we do this by using good keywords, or the terms that your shoppers are typing into the Etsy search bar. When it comes to proper keyword optimization of an item, it's first important to identify what it is that you want to be known for. We want to find the center of your product's universe, then expand out into other keyword territories. So let's use this cute strawberry tote bag I designed in Printify as our listing example. Your first step is to head over to erank.com to begin doing keyword research. This is an important step because without a data-driven keyword tool, you won't know if shoppers are actually searching for the words that you're placing in your listings, and your listings may not be found in search. If you don't already have an eRank membership, you have 3 different plans to choose from. Just be aware that if you choose the free plan, you'll only be able to do so much research each day before you hit your quota, so use your searches wisely. After you've logged in and connected your Etsy shop, click on the Tools tab and select the Keyword tool right here. Or if you land on this page, you can always just click Keyword Research, Show Me. When doing our keyword research, we want to start broad and narrow our way down. If you're selling this purple strawberry tote bag, it's better to start our search with tote bag because eRank will be able to suggest more specific ideas based on this search. It'll also help you to not use up your quota as quickly if you're using the free plan. Once you've typed in your broad keyword, we want to spend some time on this page. eRank will display several important pieces of information, including the monthly searches, average clicks, click-through rates, and the competition for this term. And most likely, all of these things will be really high since we've typed in such a broad phrase. So don't worry so much about these numbers right away. Take a quick glance around the page, then scroll down to the list of keyword suggestions down here. This is the area where we're going to find our golden nuggets. From this list, we want to begin looking for possible keywords to experiment with for our tags and titles. And I highly recommend clicking this button down here and creating a keyword list to save these words in. That way, it's easier to keep track of them. Free members can make 1 list, basic members can create 25 lists, and pro members can create 50 lists, which is super useful if you want to keep your keyword list separate for each type of product that you sell. To save a keyword to your list, create or select a list from this box so we can select a list, but we're going to go ahead and create a new list. We'll want to name our list, then begin clicking the stars next to the keywords that you would like to save to that list. This will allow you to go back to them later. While looking for keywords to add to your listings, I recommend working with a combination of low-hanging fruits and 1 or 2 high-hanging fruits. The low-hanging fruits are keywords that may not be searched as much and may not have the best click and click-through rates, but the competition is lower, which means we can hopefully rank for these faster. A few terms that I might consider low-hanging fruits are trendy tote bag and strawberry tote bag. So though tote bag on its own is going to be a little too hard to rank for, we may be able to rank for some of these terms. Now, we still have plenty of keyword space in our title, but before we move on to find more keywords, let's work with what we have and start crafting our title. When it comes to Etsy SEO, there are two sides of the algorithm that we want to appeal to. One side likes to see our keywords exactly as the shopper types them in. This is called exact matching, and it will result in stronger keyword matching. For example, if someone searched for strawberry tote bag, we would want to have the phrase strawberry tote bag completely intact in our tags and titles to make an exact match. I like to call these keywords our superstar keywords because they are the VIPs of our listings. We want to make sure that our superstar keywords really shine because your superstar keyword is ultimately what you want to be known for. The other side of the algorithm is a little less powerful, but still important for ranking. It's called broad matching. During the process of broad matching, Etsy plays a fun little game of mix and match, where they put words from your tags and titles together, regardless of whether or not those words are next to each other. For example, in the keyword phrase, kawaii canvas strawberry tote bag, we would still exact match for strawberry tote bag, but we would broad match for kawaii strawberry, strawberry bag, canvas tote bag, kawaii tote bag, kawaii canvas bag, and so on. Keeping Etsy's broad matching capabilities in mind, it's unnecessary to craft our title in a way that repeats the same words over and over again. For example, rather than saying cute tote bag, kawaii bag, strawberry tote bag, canvas tote bag, we could instead say cute kawaii canvas strawberry tote bag, because we will exact match for our superstar keyword, strawberry tote bag, and we'll broad match for the terms cute tote bag, kawaii bag, canvas tote bag, and so on. Now that we've started our title with the most important aspects of our product, we still have plenty of room to add additional keywords if you choose to. Ideally, you'll want to find more terms closely related to your products that you could broad match for. For example, the term trendy tote bag is a great low-hanging fruit, so we could add it to the front of our title to make the phrase cute kawaii trendy canvas strawberry tote bag. But after a while, you may find yourself struggling to find terms related to your item. This is where I recommend tossing in a closing keyword related to the target customer. These keywords typically won't bring in a lot of traffic, but they're good to experiment with after you've already catered your title to the item itself. We still have plenty of space, so let's finish off the title with a potential recipient for shoppers looking for gifts. From our list of suggested keywords associated with tote bag, we are going to scroll down and begin noting some of the terms related to possible recipients and target customers. So let's grab the term tote bag for women, tote bag for school, and work tote bag. Now that we've collected a few keywords, let's compare them side by side. You can do this quickly by clicking up here on the Tools tab, then clicking on Compare Keywords. Next, I'll open my list to see the terms that we've saved, and I will copy and paste them into the tool. Looking at these numbers, I can already see that tote bag for women is going to be really hard to rank for. So for now, I think I'm going to target shoppers who are looking for tote bags for work or school, since these will be easier to rank for. And remember, since I'm not super concerned with exact matching for these terms, I can just add for school or work into my title, because I already have the word tote bag in my title, and Etsy will be able to broad match them together in every combination. So adding this term into my title, it now reads, cute kawaii trendy canvas strawberry tote bag for school or work. Now that we've created our title, we now need to head down to our tags section and begin filling these out. Tags are an area that Etsy will also exact match as well as broad match, so we'll do our best to keep some of our keywords together when possible. And since this is a question I get a lot, yes, we want to make sure that we're adding all of the words from our title into our tags as well. If one of your tags doesn't fit, just break it apart in whatever way makes the most sense. So we'll add strawberry tote bag, cute kawaii, trendy canvas bag, tote bag for school, and tote bag for work. Now that we've used all of the words from our title, we still have some room to experiment with. This is a great opportunity to use some of the keywords from our initial search that didn't quite make the cut for our title. These terms may have been too competitive or too broad for your title, but they'll be great for our tags. You can also add tags related to the recipient, such as gifts for girls. So let's go back to our original search for tote bag in the keyword tool and begin grabbing a few extra words. Okay, so I saved aesthetic tote bag, floral tote bag, gifts for girls, sleepover bag, kids overnight bag, strawberry accessories, and best friend birthday gifts, which we'll need to break into 2 tags to fit, but that puts us at our goal of 13. Let's go ahead and add these into our tags. Now, you may be saying, Starla, you just said that we don't need to repeat the word tote bag because Etsy will broad match it. And yes, this is true, but oftentimes you'll end up out of ideas before you hit your 13 tags. And it's better to repeat a word and try to aim for an exact match for some terms like aesthetic tote bag, rather than adding a 1-word tag like aesthetic. This is all about testing and experimenting. Once you've published your listing, it's important to remember that Etsy's algorithm can take 60 to 90 days to build a quality score for your listing. Every time you add a new listing, Etsy begins collecting data based on how shoppers interact with it. And after a period of 60 to 90 days, Etsy is able to decide where in search that listing should be placed. With this in mind, it's important not to edit this listing again during that 60 to 90 day window. We want to make sure that we aren't interrupting Etsy as they assess your listing quality, so be sure to give your listing plenty of time to grow. The last thing I want to show you is how to keep an eye on your keywords so that you'll know if search trends change later on. As I'm sure you know already, something that was popular this year may not be popular next year, so it's important to keep a close eye on the search status of the keywords that you've used in your listings. To check the search trends of the keywords that you've saved, hover over the Tools tab and open your keyword lists. From here, I can select the list that I want to look at. I'll click on my strawberry tote bag list. And from here, I can check back each month to see the search volumes for my keywords. If I notice that one of my keywords is suddenly not being searched anymore, I'll know it's safe to remove this term and maybe test out a different one. One of my favorite things about eRank is that they update this data every single month, so when trends change, you'll be the first to know and the first to act. Ideally before your competitors do. And speaking of trends, eRank just unveiled an all-new print-on-demand tool that will show you the 100 most popular items searched on Etsy for shirts, mugs, embroidery, hoodies, phone cases, stickers, sweatshirts, and tote bags. If you need ideas for product designs that will sell in your print-on-demand shop, click on eRank's Trends tab and select Monthly Trends from the menu. Then scroll down to the POD category on the left and choose the type of item that you'd like to see. From here, eRank will show you the top 100 searches for that type of item, as well as a trend graph that shows when the demand for this item is the highest. This is insanely useful because if you're selling a Christmas shirt, for example, you can check to see when people began searching for Christmas shirts last year. That way, you can make sure that you're listing your items a few months ahead of the busy season. Overall, SEO is the map that leads customers to your products and keeps your listings ahead of the competition. And with a little science, a lot of data, and some help from a trusted Etsy SEO expert and Printify, you'll be well on your way to Etsy success. Cue the funky lo-fi beat.